I'm in Shenandoah National Park, and this is the trailhead parking for the Rose River Fireroad. There's quite a bit of space here. There's my little red car. And it's a gravel road coming up here, of course. Down this way is the Rose River. And I'm going to head down this way looking for an old cemetery. I'm not sure if I can get over there, though, because I'm going to have to try and cross the river, and it sounds like it's raging today. The elevation here is 1,175 feet. Two-tenths of a mile into my hike. I'm down at the Rose River, and my car's way up there somewhere. I'm looking for an old cemetery, and there was supposed to be a trace of an old road that went across here somewhere. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get across this river. It's too much water. I'm gonna look around, see if I can find somewhere, but it's like right there is pretty deep. Might be able to go upstream a little ways. So I'm gonna look around a little bit and see if I can find a way to get across. It's not looking too good right now, though. Seven-tenths of a mile into my hike. The elevation here is 1190, fairly flat. The main fire road is up there a ways. I came down here because I noticed there's this trail right here. So I'm going to follow this upstream for a ways. There's the Rose River. I wandered around quite a bit looking for a place to cross, but I never did see anything that was realistic. I mean, it's like 30 degrees here. It's freezing cold, so I don't want to get wet trying to get across. I'll have to come back some other time when it's warmer. But I'm going to go upstream for a ways here and just follow this old trail. Ice on the tree. The river split into two pieces here. Here's one piece. Over there's the other piece. And then they meet right there. You could probably cross the river here if it wasn't running so hard. You could hop rocks there and then go across the island and hop some rocks over there. So over there's the river. It's split into two pieces. But I just wanted to show you this. This is on the south side, south bank. Real nice flat area in through here. I mean, you could set up your little day camp, some hammocks or something, and use this as a jumping off point for fishing. The main road's up there. And then that's looking upstream. .1 miles into my hike. I'm up to 1,250 feet. And here's the Rose River. And here's another flat zone. I'll mark this one on my GPS also. Nice flat zone. Looks like it may be a little overgrown in the summer though, but right now it's nice and flat. The main road's up there. Real nice spot. .2 miles into my hike. I'm up to a 1310. I climb back up on the main fire road here. The river's down there a ways, and I followed the bank of the river, but this is the way you would come from, just following the fire road. And here's a little feeder stream which is all iced up right now, coming across here, and then it goes down there and feeds into the river. .1 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 1430, and this is a fairly substantial bridge that they put in going over this feeder stream. There's the feeder stream coming down from the side of the mountain, and well, you can see there load limit 5 tons, and it looks like it's made mostly out of metal. And then here's the upstream side. And here's the downstream side. Down there's the Rose River. 2.3 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 1460. And I've reached, that's where I came from. And right up here is the first of a series of switchbacks on the road. From here to the top, the road starts getting pretty steep, so it switches back and forth. So when you get to the first switchback, this looks like a well-beaten path down here. This is kind of the part of the Rose River that's more desirable for fly fishing. And you can tell that because there's a fishing regulations sign up right there that you can't read. But I'm going to walk down here and do a little fly fishing recon. .7 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 1530, and I'm gonna turn around and start heading back. Did a little recon here up and down the Rose River. It looks to me like there's a lot of nice fly fishing spots along the river here. But anyway, the main road, that's looking upstream. The river's over there. Maybe you can hear it. And then that's looking upstream. And the main road's up there at a higher elevation now, doing switchbacks and stuff to get up over the top. But it looks to me like down here next to the river along the bank there used to be an even older road. And that pile of rocks there looks to me like that's probably where they piled up rocks just to get them out of the way. There's the river over there. And I mean, over here is another spot where they piled up some rocks right there. They're covered with moss. And then maybe if you look down through here, people are using pieces of this old road as a hiking trail. It would be pretty overgrown in the summer though, but in the wintertime maybe you can see you can get along the banks of the river here fairly smoothly. Anyway, that's heading back towards my car, so that's where I'm headed now. It's going to take me a while to get back. So that's where I came from, following the old road, and then here's some more rocks piled up on the side of the road. There's one there. There's another pile there. Over there looking into the sun, maybe you can see that pile there. And beyond that, another pile, and then I'm just going to keep following the old road. I'm going to follow this road back until I run into the Fireroad, and then follow that back to my car. Okay, now this is kind of interesting. I missed it on my way upstream, but downstream, this is the, looks like the end of a stacked stone wall, and then here's part of it here. Continues on down a ways. They took advantage of that big honking rock there, and then they continued on with the stacked stone over here. Some more of it over there. So could be somebody lived down here next to the river. The only problem I see with living down here is, man, when this river decides to flood, you're gonna have to head for higher ground. This is a map of today's hike. It's two quadrangle maps taped together. The right side is Old Rag Mountain, 1994, and the left side is Big Meadows, 1994. And I hiked what is now called the Rose River Fireroad. Originally it was called the Blue Ridge Turnpike. Let me give you a little history on that. The Blue Ridge Turnpike was built in 1853 by a private company, the Blue Ridge Turnpike Company, and it was 56 miles long. It started on the east side of the mountain at Gordonsville, Virginia, because they have a rail junction there, and then it went across the mountain at Fisher's Gap and down the west side to Newmarket. It was heavily damaged during a Civil War, and so the company abandoned the road. Eventually the local counties picked up repair and maintenance, and they maintained it until 1935, when Shenandoah National Park was created. The park closed the road. But you can still hike this road, the part that's within the park boundaries. The east side is what I hiked, which is the Rose River Fireroad, and on the west side it's called the Red Gate Fireroad. Now this is the beginning of the hike right here. This is where you park. You just follow Route 670, Old Blue Ridge Turnpike, to the very end, and you park right here at the park boundary. Now originally I was going to cross the river and look for this cemetery, but you'll see in the videos the river was running so fast that I didn't see a safe place to get across without getting wet, so I abandoned that idea and decided to just hike along the Rose River. Now let me go to the bigger map. One thing about the Rose River is a lot of people will trout fish in it. So so I decided to just hike along there and look for places to go back and trout fish one of these days. But there's where you park. The cemetery is over there somewhere. And I basically hiked up the Fireroad. I left the Fireroad from time to time to go down to the bank of the river to look around. And I hiked up to, when you get to here, there's a bridge that you cross, a metal bridge. And then I followed the road up to this first switchback. Now the mountain gets real steep starting here, and you can see it, road starts doing switchbacks back and forth as it works its way up towards the top of the mountain. When you get to the first switchback, you'll notice a beaten path down to the river. So I think what people are doing is a lot of people are parking here, and because this part down here is probably gets overly fished, so people will come up higher and higher up on the mountain looking for better places to fish. So I basically followed it up to this point right here. Now, one thing I'll point out is about a half a mile further up, there's a set of waterfalls. So I maybe one of these days I'll go up that high, but I didn't go up there on today's hike. So I hiked up to here and turned around and followed the Fireroad back to my car here. Ended up being 4.4 miles and 591 feet of ascent. So this road is in excellent condition, and the west side, which is the Red Gate Fireroad, is also in excellent condition. So if you're looking just to get out and hike along a road that's in pretty good condition, it is rocky, but it's in good condition. This would be a good hike. If you're interested in doing trout fishing along the Rose River, this is also a good place to go. And that was the hike for today.